Just a week into 1943, with World War II entering its fourth year, the Battle of Stalingrad raging on the Eastern Front, and the Manhattan Project well underway. On the 7th of January, a genius was dead alone in the Hotel New Yorker, room 3327, when a maid, Alice Monon, who ignored the "Do Not Disturb" sign and entered his room after seeing this sign 2 days earlier. This scientific man was no other than Nikola Tesla, a keen who lit the world, a Serbian-American inventors and visionaries of all time. Little is known what this great man was working on just before his death, but given the significance of his earlier work, you can forgive the authorities at the time for trying to keep them a state secret until they were reviewed. Much of his work was later released into the public domain, but curiously, some of the material appears to be lost, which we'll discuss later in this story.
Electric power is everywhere present in unlimited quantities. It can drive the world's machinery without the need of coal, oil, gas, or any other fuel. This new power for the driving of the world's machinery will be derived from the energy which operates the universe, the cosmic energy.
Let's have a look at his whole life. Tesla was born in 1856 in Smiljan, which was today's Croatia. Tesla was the fourth of 5 children. He had 3 sisters with 1 loving brother. In 1863, Tesla's brother Daniel was killed in a riding accident. This incident shook this 7-year-old Tesla, who reported seeing visions. This incident had teased Tesla's mind till his death. As a child, he began seeing visions accompanied by flashes of light, confusing what was real and what was imaginary. This never went away. The vision spurred his ability to conceive inventions in his head in such detail that he didn't even need to draw them out. He explained how the designs were perfected in his mind in an article in 1919. Invariably, my device works as I conceived that it should, and the experiment comes out exactly as I planned it. In 20 years, there has not been a single exception. Tesla credits his mum for his interest in invention. Duca Mandic invented small household appliances in her spare time. She had an eidetic memory, the ability to recall an image from memory with high precision, and she passed this on to her son. In 1870, Tesla moved to Karlovac to attend high school, where the classes were held in German, as it was usual throughout schools within the Austro-Hungarian military frontier. Tesla has an intelligent mind. He could perform integral calculus in his head, which prompted his teachers to believe that he was cheating. He finished a 4-year term in 3 years, graduating in 1873. After graduating, he joined cholera as a teen, but was near death multiple times. In a moment of despair, his father promised to send him to the best engineering school if he recovered from the illness, and magically, his passion towards electricity urged him to recover. Tesla's father was a priest and wanted him to become one too. But Tesla was interested in engineering. In 1875, he enrolled at the Technical College in Graz, Austria, in a military frontier scholarship. Tesla studied math and physics at the Technical University of Graz. During his studies, he received a letter of commendation from the dean of the technical faculty to his father, which stated, "Your son is a star of first rank." That Tesla mentioned in his autobiography. By his 3rd year, he was failing in school and never graduated, leaving Graz in December 1878. But rather than finish his studies, Tesla became a gambling addict, lost all his tuition money, dropped out of school and suffered a nervous breakdown. It would not be his last. Tesla's family did not hear from him after he left school. There was a rumor amongst his classmates that he had drowned in the nearby river Mur. But in January, one of them ran into Tesla in the town of Maribor and reported that encounter to Tesla's family. In March 1879, Milutin finally located his son and tried to convince him to return home and take up his education in Prague. Unfortunately, Tesla's father died the next month on the 17th of April, 1879, at the age of 60 after an unspecified illness. In 1881, Tesla moved around the world when he landed in Budapest, Hungary in 1881, where he worked as an electrical engineer. As Tesla was walking with a friend through the city park, he used his mind and drew a diagram in the sand explaining the new idea of alternating current, which was the best initiative in the field of electricity. Tesla joined the Continental Edison Company in Paris, but management took notice of his advanced knowledge in engineering and physics and soon had him designing and building improved versions of generating dynamos and motors. His dedication towards his work made him more impressive in eyes of others. He was traveling all over Europe and doing amazing improvements in different Edison branches. In 1884, Edison's manager offered to manage the Edison Machine Works in United States. Historian W. Bernard Carlson notes Tesla may have met company founder Thomas Edison only a couple of times. One of those times was noted in Tesla's autobiography, where after staying up all night repairing the damaged dynamos, Edison commented to Batchelor that, "This is a damned good man." But this mutual togetherness was not running for long. The clash was started when divergence of opinion with Edison over direct current versus alternating current began. Edison was founder of DC, but Tesla wanted to use AC that was most reliable current, and nowadays used in our refrigerators, air conditioners and all other electrical appliances. Edison was not ready to use AC for fear of losing battle to protect his investment in direct current equipment and facilities. These Edison appliances were weak and inefficient when supplied by direct current. This system had a severe disadvantage in that it could not be transported more than 2 miles due to its inability to step up to high voltage levels necessary for long-distance transmission. Direct current flows continuously in one direction. Alternating current changes direction can be stepped up to very high voltage levels, minimizing power loss across great distances. The marvelous future belonged to alternating current, and Tesla wanted to serve the world with his intelligent mind. In his autobiography, Tesla stated, "The manager of the Edison Machine Works offered a $50,000 bonus to design 24 different types of standard machines. But it turned out to be a practical joke." Later versions of this story have Thomas Edison himself offering and then reneging on the deal, quipping, "Tesla, you don't understand our American humor?" He worked for 6 months at the Edison Machine Works in New York City before he struck out on his own. In June 1884, he emigrated to the United States, where he started a Tesla company. The investors showed little interest in Tesla's ideas about AC motors, so he decided to form the utility company, abandoning Tesla's company and leaving the inventor penniless. Tesla even lost control of the patents he had generated since he had assigned them to the company in lieu of stock. He had to work at various electrical repair jobs and as a ditch digger for $2 per day. Later in life, Tesla recounted that part of 1886 was a time of hardship, writing, "My high education in various branches of science, mechanics and literature seemed to me like a mockery." After facing a year with empty pockets, Tesla didn't stop himself to think and implement new experiments. With the help of partners to finance and market his ideas, Tesla set up laboratories and companies in New York to develop a range of electrical and mechanical devices. His AC induction motor and related polyphase AC patents, licensed by Westinghouse Electric in 1888, earned him a considerable amount of money and became the cornerstone of the polyphase system which that company eventually marketed. Tesla induction motor had proved his mindful fool that make the drastic impact in physics. This motor converts electrical energy into mechanical energy that ease our today lives. Attempting to develop inventions he could patent and market, Tesla conducted a range of experiments with mechanical oscillators/generators, electrical discharge tubes, and early X-ray imaging. He also built a wirelessly controlled boat, one of the first ever exhibited. Tesla became well known as an inventor and demonstrated his achievements to celebrities and wealthy patrons at his lab, and was noted for his showmanship at public lectures. Throughout the 1890s, Tesla pursued his ideas for wireless lighting and worldwide wireless electric power distribution in his high-voltage, high-frequency power experiments in New York and Colorado Springs. In 1893, he made pronouncements on the possibility of wireless communication with his devices. Tesla tried to put these ideas to practical use in his unfinished Wardenclyffe Tower project, an intercontinental wireless communication and power transmitter, but ran out of funding before he could complete it. After Wardenclyffe, Tesla experimented with a series of inventions in the 1910s and 1920s with varying degrees of success. Having spent most of his money, Tesla lived in a series of New York hotels, leaving behind unpaid bills. Tesla's work fell into relative obscurity following his death, until 1960, when the General Conference on Weights and Measures named the International System of Units, SI, measurement of magnetic flux density, the Tesla in his honor. There has been a resurgence in popular interest in Tesla since the 1990s. This is actually more of an interesting question than it first seems. Although he was of advanced age at the time of death, his end might have been caused by an earlier incident in his life. In the autumn of 1937, Tesla left the Hotel New Yorker to make his regular commute to the cathedral and library. Whilst crossing the street, he was hit by a taxi cab and thrown to the ground. The incident severely damaged his back and broke 3 of his ribs, but as he never consulted a doctor, the full extent of his injuries is, to this day, unknown. Given his age, 81 at the time, he never really recovered, and the accident must have affected his psychology and confidence. Tesla was already a very solitary individual who spent most of his life shying away from society. He was much happier with his own company than large crowds, and spent most of his time in his workshop or his imagination. Following the accident, Nikola Tesla spent more and more time on his own in his room 3327, 33rd floor at the Hotel New Yorker. He also started to show signs of obsessive-compulsive disorder in his waning years. For example, he became particularly obsessed with the number 3. He would often walk around a block 3 times before entering a building. At meal times, he would request a stack of 3 folded napkins to be placed beside his plate during meal times as well. By age 81, Tesla had completed a dynamic theory of gravity. Whilst he had announced that the theory had worked out all the details, he never published it. In 1925, Tesla publicly stated, "There is nothing endowed with life, from man who is enslaving the elements to the nimblest creature in all this world that does not sway in its turn. Whenever an action is born from force, though it is infinitesimal, the cosmic balance is upset and the universal motion results." It was quickly discovered that the cause of death was most likely coronary thrombosis. Coronary thrombosis is usually the result of a high LDL cholesterol diet, smoking, a sedentary lifestyle, and hypertension. Tesla rarely drank tea or coffee, stopped smoking in his 20s, and clearly had low cholesterol and a fatty diet towards the end of his life. He also had an interesting dietary strategy, as revealed in a fascinating 1935 interview during his life. Within it, he also reveals his love for exercise and its importance to a healthy body and mind. According to the staff at the hotel, he rarely received guests and had special vegetarian-style meals prepared for him daily by the chef. The earlier taxi accident had a profound impact on the old man's last years, a sad and ignoble end to one of the world's greatest visionaries. Nikola Tesla's ideas became more and more fantastical towards the end of his life. One famous example was his announcement of inventing a death ray on his 78th birthday. He seemed to become obsessed with this idea, and on his 84th birthday, he announced he was almost ready to unveil his idea to the US government. He believed it could be used to build an invisible Chinese wall of defense nationwide. This was related to his previous work on ball lightning and plasma. By the time of this death, Tesla, now partially housebound at the New Yorker hotel, had sold his AC electricity patents. Despite this, he was effectively destitute and would die with significant debts. Where Tesla files and documents about Tho projects who worked on it before HS death, let's uncover this. Immediately following the announcement of the great man's death, the US government quickly acquired Tesla's papers. The FBI instructed the Office of Alien Property to immediately take possession of all that remained of his property and possessions. Because of the apparent nature of Tesla's work, J. Edgar Hoover, director of the FBI, declared it most secret. In the US government's view, getting hold of them was vital before any foreign powers, especially the Soviet Union, could. Tesla's extended family, including his nephew Sava Kozanovich, tried desperately to have at least his personal effects returned. Their requests were eventually accepted, and some of his personal items were returned to the family. Recently declassified documents reveal that the FBI at the time was concerned with his nephew's intentions. They had even considered arresting him to prevent Tesla's work from falling into enemy hands. After a long court battle, Kozanovich, the rightful heir to his uncle's belongings, was finally given them. Tesla's possessions and files were sent to Belgrade. But interestingly, of the 80 trunks or so of Tesla's effects, only 60 arrived. This has led to multiple conspiracy theories about the whereabouts of the missing material. But after years of fielding questions on the matter, the FBI finally declassified some 250 pages of Tesla's captured works in 2016. Yet despite this, it still seems some of his material is still missing. It is known that the US military had attempted to develop Tesla's ideas on particle beam technology in the post-war years. It is also believed that Ronald Reagan's Star Wars Strategic Defense Initiative program in the 1980s was probably inspired by Tesla's death ray. But if the government is still using some of Tesla's material for its research and development, this would explain why some, if any, of his original works are still missing today in Belgrade. Whether the US government had kept some of the information and its effects or not is still today unknown. Tesla was a man who wanted to change the world, a man who wanted to serve humanity with his priceless efforts, a man who saw the world with wireless transmission lines, and if we see around ourselves, inner voice came from my heart, Tesla proved himself. His mother called him the child of light, as high born in lightning stormy night, and she was true.